I've just returned from Gaza 3 days ago, having been a surgeon working in Al-Aqsa Hospital for the last few weeks. I saw things I would never have expected to see in a healthcare setting. The healthcare system in Gaza is being systematically destroyed and is in imminent danger of being completely disabled.
It is critical now that we have momentum with what has been happening in the International Court of Justice, that international pressure to stop this genocidal war continues. Every voice here will be heard. We have now momentum to end this genocidal war.
I felt like if I wanted to be anywhere today on this global day of solidarity and protest, I wanted to be in London, because I think this is the origin of the occupation. It's the origin of hopefully the solution to the occupation.
The way in which the international community defends Israel is a disgrace. It is an affront to international law. The International Criminal Court must uphold an investigation of these crimes against humanity and genocide.
Our particular message today is to our own government to stop opposing the ceasefire, to stop supporting the genocide, to stop giving military and diplomatic aid to Israel.
What Israel is doing in Gaza is completely unacceptable. The world needs to know about it. The world needs to act.
Free! Free! Palestine! Free! Free!
We are on the right side of history. We cannot stand by and watch women, men, children, babies being slaughtered.
Are you trying to climb that sign, sir?
I was doing the wrong thing.
The war in Gaza is still going on. Palestinian civilians are still being slaughtered, and now we are having the widening war of which we've warned since the beginning, with the attack on Yemen by the British and American governments 2 days ago.
Palestine will be free!
Too many Palestinian children are dying, bombing of innocent civilians, bombing of innocent children, of babies, bombing of hospitals, bombing of schools.
We're one of thousands of marches all over the world today, a global day of action to support the Palestinian people of Gaza, and also to thank South Africa for taking the case to the International Court of Justice, where they presented a brilliant, logical, legal case demanding, as we all are, an immediate ceasefire to save lives. 30,000 already dead. Goodness knows how many more, as long as this bombardment is allowed to continue.
Our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinian people.
We have to continue every single day protesting, demonstrating, demanding that our government stop selling weapons to Israel, demanding that our government calls for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, is because every single day that we don't, another 247 people will be killed.
Let's remind those in power that our commitment to the truth is unwavering.
153 countries voted for a ceasefire, and it's evident by the hundreds of thousands of people that have come out, the millions across the world today in over 40 countries and 120 cities across the world.
We campaign for the truth, but we campaign also for justice. And you know, it is true. It is true. There'll be no justice until there's a ceasefire and there's peace.
The International Criminal Court is considering what the Israel's actions. I think many of us believe these are war crimes that are being perpetrated. So we want our own government now to demand a ceasefire.
So I am so proud to stand here today with many hundreds, many thousands of Jews to say that when the history books are written, they will record that from the streets of New York to the streets of London, all over the world, Jews of conscience stood up and stood with our people who are people who believe in human freedom. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Our world is not organised around principles of justice. Our world is organised around centuries of Western domination of others. And it's those centuries of Western domination that saw the Americas brutalized and colonized, that saw Africa and Asia brutalized and colonized. And today it's that same colonial history that sees the Palestinian people murdered in their thousands, in their tens of thousands, by the most awful ideology that we have to defeat, the idea that some lives matter more than others.
Coming onto the streets shows the people in Gaza they are not alone. so often we get messages from people in Gaza saying, we see you, thank you. Just even for that one reason, we come out so they know they're not alone.
It's the Europeans that persecuted the Jews, not the Africans, not the Palestinians, and not the people in the Middle East. And that needs to be remembered. I'm here because I think it's time that our leaders really got behind Palestine.
Raise your voice so they hear you! Let us stand as one! All faiths, all backgrounds, all colors, and speak in one voice! Cling to your moral compass! That moral compass will preserve our shared humanity!
That people want ceasefire. They demand ceasefire, and ceasefire now. That people have been following the atrocities, the genocidal aggression Israel is doing in Gaza and all over Palestine. And the power of the people is important. The governments are not listening, so people keep coming and coming and coming in their thousands and their hundreds of thousands to deliver the voice. And their voice has got to be heard. This is a loud voice. People continue coming in their big numbers, and I think governments in the end will have to listen.
It is 100 days relentless bombing and killing in Gaza. They have made millions homeless, injured over 60,000. There are 8,000 people missing, and Israel has killed 23,000 people.
South Africa, who suffered so grievously under apartheid, have repaid the world for their solidarity against apartheid by showing their solidarity with the people of Palestine.
This targeting of health professionals as part of a systematic and intentional policy to completely destroy all aspects of health in Gaza as a way of making it uninhabitable, so that the ethnic cleansing and the expulsion of Palestinians continues. This Nakba Part 2, as one of the Israeli politicians described it, hinges on the destruction of health systems.
This is a moment for transformation. There have been 30,000 martyrs. This is our moment to transform the world. We must reject Zionism in all of our institutions. Yes! Because to be anti-racist is to be anti-Zionist. I want you all to continue marching in the street even as South Africa courageously and momentously takes Israel to the ICJ. Yes! We must not stop marching. Not now, not tomorrow, not until Palestine is free.
People are resorting to drinking dirty water in a place where there's some of the highest GDP per capita in the world. It's injustice, and it's plain and simple for anybody to see. We're seeing a genocide live streamed, and that's never happened before in history. I think that's enough of a reason for anybody to come out.
I'm a surgeon, and I've just returned from Gaza. I thought I would be prepared for what I was going to see in Gaza, but I wasn't. I wasn't remotely prepared. Nothing could have prepared me for the horror that is the reality of Gaza now, after the destruction by the Israeli Defense Force.
Just as my colleagues from PMRS go to work every day in the man-made hell that is currently Gaza, we must do our bit. Today, tomorrow, and the day after. Just as our heroes in Gaza use their bare hands to pull loved ones from the rubble, we too must use our bare hands to break this sick system of oppression.
I want you all to remember Health Workers for Palestine and go on our Instagram and vote through the link for the Nobel Peace Prize for health workers in Gaza.
We have doctors who have just returned from Gaza, Professor Nick Maynard, Dr. James Smith, many others, and Gazan doctors themselves who are here, all united in that simple message. We, as healthcare workers, completely deplore the continual targeting of healthcare facilities and doctors. It is unacceptable. This is war crimes beyond war crimes, and we will not allow the Israelis to continue to continue this genocide, and we will continue to stand and protest, and we can speak up, we can write to our MPs, we can make our voices heard in our workplaces, in our homes, in the streets of London and the streets of the world.
We've had people marching today in 120 cities, more than 120 cities, 45 countries across 6 continents, all united in delivering a message. We want an end to the genocide and we want a permanent ceasefire.